What's up, Pirates? Wraith here with Awaken TCG, and today we're going to be going over our we're going to be going over our red green law list for our locals EBO1. Shout out to Joku, Kaizoku Cards online. He um, went to the LA regional and we met up with him, and he was kind enough to give us this Bonnie here. So shout outs to him. His custom arts are amazing. So if you guys want to go ahead and check out his store, he has basically all the leaders, especially the new OP07 ones, in some crazy cool looking custom arts. You can go ahead and get them on his website. It'll be down in the link in the description. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So what we did is we took red, green, lots of locals and we tried it out. So we actually took the base list from Cross's YouTube channel. If you want to go ahead and check that out, that will also be in the link in the description. He is one of the best deck builders um, in the TCG scene. He is just a god at creating good lists, and so we took that as inspiration. Let's go ahead and show off the first card here. We have Dogura. After playing in locals, I will say this card here we might want to take out, although it's good. It's a very slower paced. Obviously in '07 this is going to change, but this is for EBO1. It's the last weekend of it before Mesquite, which changes up the format with bans. So this potentially still could see some use up until '07 comes out. Uh, but I would take out the Dogura just because the games are a bit slower. And while the use is there to get the early shambles off, I don't think it's necessary to get early shambles off. And it's a red one drop, so searchable by Dodon. Otama, red one drop, also searchable by Dodon. Great 2K, and this card here is insane for being able to clear board. Just having the opportunity to minus 2K one of your opponent's units, start swinging with your small searcher bodies, and then you go ahead and shambles, bring it back, play a lot is just insane. Here's a nice little tech card that I got from Cross is there's no way you could defeat me. 3 Dawn on your opponent's turn, it's counter, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 base power or less. So Luffy, Kid, Queen, any 6,000 original power or less swings, gets KO'd and negates the whole attack. So that card there is pretty good. Nico Robin as a 2 of handles Robin's or not. It handles Rebecca's relatively easy, and we probably want to go up on this, less on the Dogura, more on the Robins because it is searchable and it's a 1K. It's a nice body you can just play out to get that effect off. We have one starter deck Nami. Probably not necessary. I just wanted to throw in some spice, but that's probably not necessary. You do not need that. I'd probably advise removing that as well. Sanji, 2K, counter, searchable. I don't know if you ever use it in any matchups, but the option is always there. And then we have some of our Straw Hat package. We have a one of Luffy. I think it's okay as a one of. The card is good, but I don't know if I would go any higher than that. Then we have 4 choppers. These blocker choppers are MVPs. They have a better Otama effect when you attach to Dawn. And then we play things like Cavendish where we can restand on anyway. Obviously, that doesn't actually affect this, but we'll get into that later. I don't know what I'm talking about. I did put in a little bit of effort into this playing this deck, and it is really nice, but I still definitely made some misplays. You guys will see in the games. We have 4 1-drop blocker choppers, all searchable by Dodon. Great blocker, just a unit to occupy the board, and great late game blockers. We have 2 Zoros. I think a 2 of Zoro is fine. And then we have it's a rush 3/5 Zoro. Then we have our Spice. So it's the 1 Kid Killer. This can get shambles for 2 Dawn. And then if you have a Cavendish, you swing for 6, restand that same 2 Dawn you use. Then you have this Kid Killer to go for game enders. Pretty gnarly. 2 Beiges. Honestly, I didn't see these pop up too much. Not searchable by Dodon. You basically always want to early on shambles a red unit to play a green blocker loss. So these don't really come in handy early on. I would consider maybe switching these because you already have these 8 blockers here. So I don't know how necessary these beiges are. We have 2 of these 2K supernova blockers. Obviously, our staples. We have 4 blocker kids. These blocker kids are insane. They make the engine on this deck just run insanely well. So many what's the word? It's very versatile. So many versatile plays you could do. We have 1 of the restand law, which I'd probably go a little bit higher on that. And maybe in this Cavendish too. Maybe I want to go to 4 Cavendish. This Cavendish is MVP. If it can stick on the board, you're in a great spot. It just has so much value. It is insane. You shambles, this negates the use of the shambles. You just restand your 2 Don, right? It's pretty gnarly. Then we have 4 Nami searchers. It just searches our um, Straw Hat Pirate package, and it is a red 1-drop, so searchable by Dodon, which we have right here. We're gonna have our 4 Dodon searches red 1-drop, so 1, 3, 7, 10, 14, 18. So just an insane amount of red 1-drops that we can search. Then we obviously have our supernova searcher, which is Bonnie. Searches out our laws, our Cavendish, basically our big bodies that we want to play. Very cohesive deck. And then the tech of the day is Chambres. You pick a unit back up from the board and you play a 2 or less from your hand. So sometimes you're bricked up. As you guys will see, there's a game where I actually don't have more 5-drops to play, so I'm forced to Chambres. I can swing with it on board. I go 1-drop event. I pick this back up to hand. Maybe I play like a searcher, a Nami, a Dodon. I can even play a blocker to take its spot, and then after I use this, I can shambles this back right after I already swung with it. So just get some extra value, and just it does have some tech to it. Might even go up on this. But for the most part, this is the list that I'm running. Definitely some changes I'd make, but we're gonna go ahead and watch some gameplay with me using this list. So let's get into it. So for our first match, we have a Katakuri. They won dice roll. They chose first, so I'm going second. His turn 1, he's gonna go ahead and pudding, grab an Amande 2K. And so this matchup it's different. It's different. Obviously, you can try to rush down the Kata, but sometimes you just don't have the resources. And so on my turn 2, I just established a Dodon. Go ahead and pick up a red 1-drop. Then he's gonna go 5K with his pudding, which is probably the best turn 2 play if you don't have a Pero. You go 5 pudding, you go 5 leader, and so obviously I countered one, and then I took one. Taking 2 early life take 2 life so early on would have definitely hurt. I go to Don. I go ahead and grab another red 1-drop. So from a searcher perspective, I had the searchers to start, which is obviously always really good. I'm gonna grab a chopper with that one, and then I have the double Nami. So as cracked as your first 2 turns can be, mine definitely were, and so definitely already setting the tone for this to be a great game. My opponent now on 5 Don. He is going to tap 4, play a Kiku, and go 7 at lead, which I don't blame him. He's going to look at mine. Wants to put it to the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and take that. And so now I'm on 6 Don with 4 units on board, and it's like now I'm in a great position to shambles. I'm in a great position to just start developing my board, swinging at him. The only issue is he goes to 7 mom next turn, which is definitely going to hurt me. So I swing 5, he takes, and then I go Cavendish. I restand 2 Don, which is amazing because now I can establish this Cavendish, which is a 5-drop, and a Law right from the shambles. So I grab 2 of my searchers back, debating what I want to play. I'm realizing he's going to 7 mom, so I'm thinking on what exactly I need. I'm like, okay, maybe I can find another Law blocker because I think at this point I don't have another one. And so debating, I grab another Cavendish. I think that was my best option at the time. But this deck right here, it's super slippery, finds value in crazy places you would never think. So it's very interesting to play. Obviously, I don't have any experience on Red Green Law previously, so I'm just kind of playing it to the best of my ability with the knowledge that I have now as I've grown as a player. So he goes 7 mom. I give him a life. If I go down to 1 life, go down to 0 life, he is going to start swinging at my leader, which means I'm going to need blockers, just straight up blockers. And I have limited amount of blockers. And so it's better to just give a life, continue to control the game, control the board, and hope that, I can recover and get to a spot where I'm able to just kill him. So I go Bonnie search, and I'm debating what I want to do here. Counting up my Don, always making sure I have the proper amount of Don. I go 7 with Cavendish, restand 2 Don, which is amazing value. And of course, he gets an Onami trigger, classic yellow things. He just put that one up top with the 7 mom as well. So That kind of hurts, but it's still not a bit too big of an issue just because I can pivot and do so many things with this deck. He gives me a 2K for my 5K swing, which lets me know maybe he might not have a lot of counter in hand. So I go 6, and then I go, he gives me another 2K, and then I go 2 for shambles. I actually have another law I think I grabbed off of my draw that turn, I believe. And then I just play chopper blocker off the 5-drop law, and I go ahead and pass turn. Now it is my opponent's 9 Dawn turn. This is going to be interesting because I'm not sure what exactly he's going to try to do on 9 Dawn. Could be scary. And it looks like he just goes for another 7 Mom. So at this point, I'm like, well, you know, the board is looking very good on my end. I have a chopper blocker for his 8K swing. I have a good amount of counter in hand. I have a good amount of cards. I'm like, I can just defend this turn, stay at 2 life, and then swing at his board next turn. So I opt to give him another life. And so at this point, he has gone through an extra plus 2 lives. So he's a 7 life leader at this point in this match. He swings 7. Or he swings 9, I block. And I give him a 1K with the block off the Okiku. And so now we need to clear one of the 7 moms. I think our game plan here was to minimize the damage that we're taking on our opponent's next turn while still being very aggressive, you know, as aggressive as possible. So Bonding Surge does not get me another law. It got me another Cavendish, which is all right. I'm hoping he's going to swing into this Cavendish so I can play another one, but he hasn't budged. He was trying to swing into the Luffy last turn. So I go 10 with the Cavendish, restand 2 Dawn. I'm just trying to, you know, get cards out of his hand. Maybe he wants to pitch 2 and, you know, put me at an advantage here. So he does. He gives me a 0-drop event and trashes another card with it. Now I'm at 6 Dawn, so I still have a good amount of things I can do here. Swing 5, he takes, no trigger. We still need to get rid of that body on the board while being able to shambles. I'm just doing some math here. The Dawn management on this deck is definitely something you have to be really good at to be proficient on this deck, which is something that it's a skill I've gotten better with over time. And so I go Chambres, I pick up the Cavendish, I go ahead and play a chopper, and then what this allows me to do is replay that same Cavendish and get another 2 Dawn off the shambles. So that's 4 Dawn that I've restood this turn. So technically this is a 14 Dawn turn, which is insane value. I go 2 for shambles, grab the Dawn, play the Cavendish, get another 2 Dawn. So it's just free value that I'm getting because that Cavendish had already swung 7K, right? So that's a free 7K swing. Now the Cavendish is back to restood. Didn't even waste Dawn for it. And then we're going to go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with that 11 at the 11 at the Big Mom. Debating if I want to swing here. I'm just counting out how many swings I have to take. If I'm going to have to block with this law blocker or not. And so, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I swing. Because, like, the thing is, it's yellow. They can trigger a body. They can trigger a, you know, it doesn't matter. They can trigger something, another Onami, and just ruin your day, right? So, he plays 10 Mom, gains a life, trashes my life. So, that is another life. So, now that's plus 3 life. He's an 8 Dawn leader for this match, which is insane. Katakuri is such an insane deck. And so he's just swinging 5, 6, 8. I counter, block. And now it is still my turn. He is very low on cards, which is good for me. You know, I'm slowly getting to that point where maybe I can go for a lethal. Bonnie gets me a beige. So these Bonnie searches have been very mediocre. Yeah, not what I would prefer. Not what I would prefer. Nami getting me a Robin. I'm just doing these two searches because I'm going to, Cavendish swing, restand them anyway. Again, counting up my Don, knowing he has 3 Don in hand, I'm going to do another 10k swing, restand 2, go back to 6 Don, the classic play. And we have 6 Don to play with. We still have Luffy swing, we have Law swing, potentially, and then obviously Shambles. So at this point, we want to be as aggressive as possible, try to get him down to a range where we could potentially lethal. I swing 5, he gives me a 1. I swing 6, he's going to take. And I think at this point, we don't know while we're playing, but we can see now he is bricked in hand. So that is going to come into play later on. So again, another turn where I debate if I want to play the Law blocker. It's one of those things where it's like, can you survive a turn with no blocker? I think I do have some 1-drop blockers in hand. Yes, I see a beige in there. So I do opt to swing here. So I go 8k. We know he's bricked. Now he's going to take. He gets a body trigger, plays it. And now at this point, I pivot. I'm like, okay, I'm going completely defensive now. That's an extra body he can swing with. I'm like, there's no way. So yeah, I mean, my play was mediocre there. Is play a chopper, play a beige, but it's 2 units that he has to deal with. And I still have 1 life, so honestly, not the worst. Him being so low on resources. Him still being at 2 life, meaning he can't Amaru. I know I saw it in his hand. And so then he plays another 10 mom, goes to 3 life again. That is plus 4 life. So at this point, this Katakuri is a 9 life leader. That is insane. He is a 9 life leader. Swing 6 at the Luffy, I believe. And I think at this point he's misplaying. So I give him 2 1s. He went 6 at lead, I think. At this point, he needs to just be swinging for game, in my opinion. Maybe you don't 10 mom, but with 3 blockers, it's still really hard. I guess if you can live another turn. He doesn't opt to swing his 10 mom. The Sanji I get. The 10 mom he could have swung, and I'd probably just block with beige. And then it doesn't really change the outcome of this match on how I do the lethal. I go 6 lead, -2 to Sanji. He just blocks, which is the right decision. Unless he had a 2k, maybe you just go 2k and then still use that blocker for a harder swing. But I think he's actually bricked in hand like completely. So debating my swings here, I go 6 and he takes. So as soon as he takes the first 6k, pitches a Pero and plays a Pero, I'm like, okay, he has bricks in hand. Like, you want to at least bluff that you have cards in hand. So I don't even think you ever play that because you're just winning next turn anyway. And so I go 6, he takes. I go 6, he takes. I go 7, he gets beige on Cavendish. And at this point, he thinks he has it. But I just go Shambles, plays Zoro, swing 9, which was insane. So that game was really fun. 9 life leader, Katakuri. All right, let's go ahead and get right into the next match. It is going to be a purple Luffy. So I go Nami search for 1 Don. I get a chopper blocker, and then my opponent is going to go to his 2 Don turn. Let's see what we have from him. He might just go ahead and pass here. Obviously, purple Luffy does not really have a turn 1 or turn 2 play, and so he does pass. I swing 5. He gives me a counter, and I play a chopper, the one I just picked up off the Nami. We probably would have rather obviously played some 1-drop searchers, some Dodons, some searches while establishing board and, recouping hand. But chopper blocker here is not always bad, especially when your opponent swings. This chopper sitting there is going to be very versatile and have, a lot more options than just that cookie cutter, 1-drop blocker, 1-drop body search. I actually go Robin, beige for 3 Don. I rest 2. I go ahead and play the Law blocker. So now my board is filled up. Now for my 7 Don turn, I'm going to have a full board and just an insane amount of control over this match. Purple Luffy cannot clear multiple bodies. And so you kind of you're able to run your game without too much pushback is what I can say. As you can see here, just, these following turns are going to be brutal for him. You know, he's established one body on the board, swinging six, and then he's going to go 5 for a queen. Overall, I think, you know, we're in a good spot. We're definitely in a good spot here. We're going to be able to use that chopper effect. We're going to be able to shambles. We just have so much options here. A Bonnie would be nice if we had one. I'm not sure. I don't remember this match. It was a quick one. But for sure, there are some, you know, small changes here and there that I would definitely do to the deck list. As I explained at the start, I don't know what a finished deck list would look like. I just don't have the time to test this deck any further. So I minus the queen. I go 6k. Oh no, I go -2 to the ain. I go 6k at lead. He blocks, and then I go 2 at 2. Right, the Nami's at 2k, swinging at 2. And so he's debating if he wants to block or not here. So he does block, and then Robin again and go another 2. So at this point, I'm thinking, well, he just already gave me a card. He gave me a queen blocker, and he gave me another counter just now, another 2k. Well, I'm like, well, I still have leader swing. I have law swing. Like that ain is dying, right? So we go Cavendish off of our shambles ability, which is insane. Gives us so much more value. And then I go 5 at the ain. Yeah, of course he's gonna let that go. And then I'm like, well, this is a perfect opportunity for me to clear the board while still having that beige blocker on the board. And so I just do that. And the ain's at 2k. I think I mentioned to him after the game where I'm like, well, I think you just let that ain go and maybe take a life. And you know, his rebuttal was, well, my hand was all 2ks. But it was still the wrong play though. You're giving me all your resources for a character that's gonna die anyway. That's you know, I'm getting free swings, right? The Nami was a free swing. The Robin, free swing. He shouldn't be giving cards out for those free swings, so you just gotta let it die. So he's going 5 at lead. I go ahead and block because I think I needed a spot open, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and block. He plays Law. And from here on out, it's pretty simple stuff. He's low in hand, so I think we just start chipping him down, debating on what our play is going to be. Keeping that 3 down on the side. I always want to make sure that we have, if in case of a trigger, we always have that extra Don to play a unit to be able to shambles again. And so at this point, yeah, I'm tackling his life. I go Chambres. Pick up the law blocker, play a Nami search. And the reason I do this is I don't actually have another 5-drop in hand to play. And so I wanted to just get value, swing with that law blocker, and be able to play it again. So that is what we're doing. And then obviously this Cavendish is just getting infinite value. Swing 6, you know, restand 2 Don. We go Zoro, swing another 6. We go 6 with lead. And we shambles. Grab a Nami, play a Zoro. We're debating on what we want to do. Yeah, so we just grab the chopper, play the chopper. And the reason we do that is because our hand is pretty big, and so we're not really worried about our Zoro dying. We're not worried about our Cavendish dying. We'd rather have an extra blocker on the board because we're at 2 life and we don't want to get, you know, Kaido'd or something. Something random, right? He goes 7 kid. Swings, what is that, 10k? I just go ahead and block and he passes. So now he's at 6k. But I still have a good grasp on game here. It looks like he has what, a kid? Is that a kid? A law and another kid. So just mathing out what I need to do here. I'm swinging 7s. I want those 2Ks out of hand. He's already pitched from the start of the game a ton of 2Ks. So I'm thinking in my head, okay, well, he might not have 2Ks anymore. So let me just go ahead and swing 7s. He takes. I'm going another 7. He gets the 2K, so he uses it. Now I'm at 4 Dawn. Thinking of a way on how I can use one more Dawn so I'm able to Cavendish restand 2 instead of just restand 1 here. So we go 1, we replace with the Chopper. That way we can swing 8 at lead, restand 2 Dawn. He's going to take, and we just pass. And I don't know if you guys saw that Nami Surge got me the 3-drop event that I talked about earlier. And so with that 8K Cavendish swing, I was able to go back to exactly 3. And so as you can see there, he goes 7 with the kid. I just go ahead and play it. It counters the attack because the 6,000 original power or less unit just dies. So the attack will never go through if they're at 6,000 original power. He kid swings, Dawn -1, ramps it back active because he has the other kid. So that didn't really matter too much. But there's not much he could do here. He's, going to try his best, but my board is just too massive, too many threats. Even if he plays another blocker. So he goes with just a poly. That's basically a concede. Maybe if he had another queen blocker, he can sell it potentially one more turn, but he definitely did not. And so we're just going to use 2 free Dawn here just because we have Cavendish to restand. There's literally no other reason why I'm doing these 2 searches. Or it was a 1 search and then 1 Chopper blocker. But then I go 7, restand, he blocks, and then I just put everything on the Nami, and we go next. So, so far so good. We're 2-0. Then it gets a little hairy on our next matchup. As you can see, it's Moria, and I go first, unfortunately. I definitely want second in this matchup. But, we end up with first. We go Nami. And then it's his... Oh, no, we go second. And I think we want to go first. Regardless, I play a Nami. He goes 6K, leader effect, plays Absalom. And then I can actually start building board now. We go to Don Nami. And I think we whiff here. Or there was one we whiff coming up. Yeah, I swing 6K, he takes it. Yeah, I mean, this is a hard matchup. He's constantly swinging at your face and constantly destroying your units. So he goes 7 leader effect, and he goes Prona, and then on top of that, making me trash cards. Just makes it real rough. So we go ahead and take the 7K, pitch a Zoro for the Prona. He's swinging 5K. I believe we do give him a 1K because we're trying to stay at 2 life here. And we take, and I remember not having a card that I wanted to use for counter there. So we had to actually take down to 1. So very, very, very unfortunate. We go Dogura, Otama. We start, getting some free swings in here. We're shambling. Like, we have enough down to shambles here. So we're going 4 at 3. Hoping that he just gives it to us. He gives us 2 1K brand news. And so then we go 3 at 3. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, maybe we're still in it. But I mean, as we go through this match, you guys are going to see my plays be very suboptimal. That lot I just played was the only 5-drop, I believe, that I saw. And then we saw, spoiler, we don't see any Bonnies, right? So we don't ever have a chance to search for more of these laws. It's kind of just, oh, what do you have? Draw and life is what you have. And then obviously in each one of these matches, guys, the Bonnie is on the screen. Shout out to Joku, Kaizoku cards. Makes amazing custom art cards. And so then my opponent's turn here. Goes 7, KOs one of my units. Just a rough time for me overall. Like, just from not having counter at the very beginning, having to go down to 1 so fast, and then seeing 0 Bonnies, seeing no other 5-drops in this matchup, just hurts. Like, again, I have to take that 7K. He has another 7K. Is that 8K? Yeah, 8K I just block. And it's just, the match is just going by so fast. And like, I'm not seeing any cards that I need. I have a ton in hand, don't get me wrong, but I just don't have, you know, the necessary pieces. I'll say is I don't have the necessary pieces. And so I'm clearing his board. He has 2 in hand. I believe he really is playing this wrong, but it doesn't matter just because of how bad I draw. Obviously he wasn't drawing the best either. No reduction, but it feels really bad when this is my only play that I have. It's like, oh, I have to Chambres again and still not see anything. So like my Dodon sees a chopper. I go shambles, play the law, grab my Zoro. I believe I play a searcher here. I play a blocker. And then I play over the Dodon, another blocker. Just because I'm at 0 life. Like, I'm at 0 life. I have to live every single turn. Checking his trash. As soon as he does that, I'm like, well, he's on a Don. He's probably going to play a Moria. And then he ends up not. And so as soon as I see this, I'm like, okay, well, I have to block. I'm not giving him 2 cards in my hand. But maybe I do. Maybe I do give him 2 cards in my hand. Maybe that is the play. Just because we know that's a guaranteed 7 we can block versus, you know, future swings. I think he was checking for Absalom there. And trash. Don't believe he had it. He's going to hog back on a Perona. -1 again. Trash, another 3-drop event. And he's swinging 8. So here I had a 2 and a 1 in hand or chopper block. I think the play was definitely to go law blocker, 2 and a 1, go to 9K. Because he just played the Perona. He has no more swings. I do the opposite. I just go ahead and block because I'm like, I don't want to give him 2 cards. So I block with the chopper knowing I don't have any more blockers. And so it puts me in a position of like, A, go lethal, or B, hope to see another blocker. Because if he has removal for this 1 blocker, I just lose. I just straight up lose. And so I definitely made the wrong decision. I should have blocked with 6K, go 2 and a 1 to 9 on his 8K swing. Looking back, even though I drew very poorly, I'm like, you know what? I could have made this, you know, play a little bit different. And so imagine here, I don't have my Otama. That's fine. I don't have my Nami. That's fine because I used a 2 and a 1 to block. But I still have a unit in my hand that I can play. I could still shambles. But I would have had 2 blockers. I would have had 2 blockers instead of 1. So I can pressure life. I can keep 2 blockers. I can clear his board. And now if he clears one of the blockers, that's fine. We have the 3-drop event to kill the Perona. We have at least 1 blocker to block the leader swing, right? So, yeah, obviously after looking back, I definitely misplayed this. I'm supposed to just, what is that? What else? What's the other unit in my hand? There's another, trying to think. Yeah, but I played terribly here. Especially with my swings, leaving so much Dawn up. I just didn't really know what to do here. Obviously I'm not supposed to have that Otama in hand if I actually counter out, but I have an extra chopper. So my board's full anyway, so I can just, you know, attach Dawn, swing, clear board. I leave 3 Dawn up. I have 2 blockers. He KOs 1. Block leader. Whatever he swings with Perona, I 3-drop event, and then I just win the next turn because he has no cards in hand. So goes to show that even if you don't have the winning cards, there might always be another option that can help you win. That's all I want to say. A lot of times we blame bricks. We blame, you know, oh, he drew better. But a lot of the times, even when that happens, you can still win the game. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.